So today we have a 2013 Subaru Crosstrek. Has a bunch of lights on in the dash, check engine light, traction control light, stability control. And this is due to the valve body that is in the transmission. This is a common problem with Subaru CVT transmissions, particularly the four-cylinder, with the four-cylinder engine, the transmission that's mated to their four-cylinder engines. So today I'm going to show you guys how to replace that valve body. Got the Subaru part numbers here for you. That is for the valve body. There are 2 O-rings that you also want to get. I would also purchase a quart of CVT fluid and of course the gasket for the top hat on the transmission. So I went ahead and pulled up the repair instructions just so we can see exactly which bolts to remove on the valve body. You can see here, these are the bolts that you will be removing once the top is off of the transmission to get the valve body out. And then these are your torque specs for those bolts. So if you guys want to follow along, I'll show you guys how to get this job taken care of. Now that you have that mount out of the way, you'll want to disconnect those 2 connectors and get the cover. It's like a heat wrap they put around the top of the transmission. So you'll want to try to get that out of the way as well. Dust and stuff we don't want getting out inside the transmission. Alright, so we got another ground here. It's a 12. So if you take a pair of pliers and pinch this little thing right here, that'll slide right out. Alright. It does offer this guy, which is a tarp, that basically is a funnel for all of your dust and dirt to go straight down in where the valve body's at. The only thing it is nice is that it helps keep all the transmission fluid from going all over the engine whenever you pull the valve body out. Kind of neat. Now you can see it has a small opening, almost like a doctor would do in performing surgery. Kind of neat, but is what it is. All right. Spray them. There is one here and back here. Spray them with some rust penetrator, and then maybe even take a light hammer, and tap around them to help break up the rust. Thread this bolt back in. get a large lady slipper, stick it up under the head of that bolt, and you can pry up on it. Just be careful, don't break anything. Now, I used a very small air hammer with a chisel bit here, and I sharpened it up really well. It's not the best way to do it, but if it's stuck, you're gonna have to get it out of there. And if you kind of tap around on those corners, if you haven't used an air hammer before, or if you're not a professional, I might not do that because it is gonna burr up the sides a little bit, but those little rusty dowels get stuck in there really hard. And here's the other one back there, but it will work, and you might have to sand down the burrs a little bit to make sure it's going to seal good. But now that that is loose, all right. Okay, so to cover off, all the bolts you see that are pulled up are going to be the ones that you remove. Set them aside, make sure that they are organized in the right spots. Alright, once the valve body is removed, hopefully your O-rings will stay on the valve body itself. These two O-rings are the ones that I showed you guys earlier. They go back there in those two spots. So clean those up really good, make sure the new O-rings go in there and stay in there nicely. Sometimes you can use a little Vaseline or transmission assembly lube to make sure they stay in place.
This is one of a kind.
Then for the rest of it, put your bolts back in and tighten everything down to spec with the specifications that I gave earlier. Clear fault codes, and then I'll make another video here and see if we have to do any relearn procedures. All right, after you're done with the valve body, you should always check the transmission fluid level. So you take the fill plug out here, and obviously There's nothing running out. You have to get it up to temperature. 93 degrees is the lower limit. The upper limit is around 115. So you'll need a scan tool to be able to check that. Now we're at 93 degrees. Put that fill plug back in. Tighten it up. Clean it up. And you're done. You can take it for a test drive. Make sure it ships right.